In this class, I want to talk about promotional planning. In other words, we need to find out how to promote a product in a market or in a market segment. And we need to see what sort of structure we can use in developing that promotional plan. So let's start. Promotional activity is only successful if it works in a well-integrated promotion plan. So it's like a lot of things in business. We've got to have a plan to start. There's no point in having a promotion or a promotional activity unless there's a plan underpinning it. It must be targeted at something. It must be trying to achieve something. This must be codified. It should be understood and written down. So an integrated promotion plan is necessary, integrated with general marketing plan, integrated with the whole planning framework of the business. The promotional plan looks into how the promotional mix should be implemented. The marketing mix, price, place, product, and promotion, that mix needs to be used optimally to gain the maximum from the promotional plan. So the 4 variables must be deployed in the right way, and the 4 variables should be looked at and carefully assigned values that are going to bring back a result that fits in with the aspirations of the plan. There are 2 frameworks that are often talked about in this context. One is SOST or SUST and 4M. And we're going to have a look at these in this class and see how they fit together. SOST, by the way, is the company's situation, objectives, strategy and tactics. Sort of letters are derived. And 4M we'll see at the end how that fits. So let's talk about SOST, SOST at the start. So first of all, let's look at this situation. I said earlier that these are the meanings of the letters. It's an anagram for meaning these situations. So situation is the first one. The company. What's the situation the company's in at the moment? The strengths, the weaknesses, the market share, the company position, the sales, the profits. What's the situation at the moment? You've got to start from somewhere, so you've got to start from where you are at the moment. So what is the current situation? What's the product service range? What's good about the products you've got? What's the unique point? What's the unique selling point? What are the features of the goods, the benefits to the customers? And where are the products positioned in the market? High end, low end, high quality, low quality, high price, low price. Where are they located within the market and in the minds of the consumer? Where does the consumer position the products in the market? So before anything happens, you've really got to get a fix on those. But you also need to know what the structure of the market is. What opportunities exist in the market, and also what threats are out there. What's the level of competition? It's not just a number of competitors, but how clever are they? The people running those businesses who are in competition with you may be extremely bright and extremely intelligent, and their job is to try and outmaneuver you. They're not sitting passively by, they are actively participating. So that's the situation. Now, the objectives. the O. Well, what are the objectives of the business, short run and long run? It's worth spending some time in devising the promotional plan to sit down and try and work those out. There's got to be some sort of guidance as to the long-term objectives of the business and the short-term. And obviously the short-term should feed into the long-term, should lead to it. And using the marketing objectives, what tools are going to be used to achieve the outcome, the desired outcome from the plan? Cutting price, developing a new product, altering an existing product, changing the packaging. What exactly can be done? And it needs to be critically looked at. Each aspect of the existing situation needs to be critically looked at and brainstormed almost to try and find out, is there a better way of doing it? The communications objectives, not just communications within the organisation to make sure that the product is repositioned or redesigned or updated, but also communications to the consumer. And the consumer is a stakeholder in the business. The consumer is associated with the business through the consumer needs. And the marketing strategy, the promotional plan in this case, should have something to say about how the customers are addressed in terms of their needs, how they should be communicated with, to tell them there's a new product coming, or that there's a new service associated with the product, more customer backup if there's an issue, some sort of service agreement or whatever. But there should be good and effective communications. So those are the objectives. Now let's turn to the next S. The next S is strategy. What are the methods of achieving the objectives? Well, right at the start I said that there were 4 possibilities here, the 4 Ps. But it's trying to get an optimal mix of those, trying to get the best mix. That's the issue. Reducing the price may increase sales, but the product may still be seen as low quality. So perhaps doing something about the image of the product. Where is it being sold? Perhaps there are new segments to the market that could be looked at. The marketing mix is essential. It's essential to have this in mind to try and work out exactly which variables can be tweaked. The place, the product, the promotion. How is the promotion done? And we're dealing here with the promotional plan. How is it done? And the price. In the context of that, the promotional mix is essential. Is it promoted through events? Is it promoted through advertising? Is it promoted through face-to-face contact? How is it promoted? If the objective is to increase sales or increase market share, there must be a promotional mix, and perhaps you don't put all of your eggs in one basket. You don't think spend all of the revenue on the promotional revenue on advertising. It may be that sponsoring events or competitions or something else is used to generate interest in the product. So now we're on to the last one, which is the tactics. What methods of implementation are available? Well, you need to put the plan into action, and to do that there must be some sort of system in place to enable the plan to be enacted. Otherwise it is just hot air. Otherwise it's just planning for planning's sake. So something must happen. There must be a method of implementing the strategy. This means drawing up plans of promotional activities, the when, where, how, this type of thing. When should the promotion take place? Where should it take place? How should it take place? That really runs us through the SOST, the SOST approach. Now let's just change tack slightly and have a look at a different approach to this. This is known as 4M. So we're looking at the promotional planning using the 4M approach. Now the 4M, M's mean something, and in this case we'll start with men. I suppose really it's labour, it's personnel, but there wouldn't be 4 M's then. It would be only 3 M's and a P. So 4M, starting with men. Who's responsible for implementing and designing the plan? And are the people involved sufficiently skilled to design the project and deliver the project? Are there the competencies and skills within the organisation to do this? Perhaps it should be outsourced, or perhaps new personnel should be taken on. Or have the existing crew got enough skills and competencies to deliver a promotional plan or design a promotional plan and deliver it? So it may be that they have to go to outside agencies or recruit staff. So that's the first M. The second M is money. What's the cost of the promotional plan? It can't be excessive. It must fit within a budget, and it must be affordable. There are many budgets within the organisation. There might be a production budget and a HR budget and a logistics budget, and here's a promotional planning budget. So it also must be affordable. And it must represent good value for money. There must be a perception that money spent on this activity will be returned. It's like an investment. There will be a good return on this investment, because that's what it is. It's really a promotional activity which should yield a result: increased sales, increased revenue, increased profits. And those have to be offset against the cost of doing it. So is it good value for money? Would it be better not to have the promotional plan and use the money for some other purpose? Perhaps into product redesign. This is sometimes known in economics as opportunity cost, which is the cost of what you didn't get. So the fact that the money is spent on a promotional plan means the product could not be upgraded because the money was spent in this direction. But there's always, when we have a choice, there's always an opportunity cost. So could the money be invested elsewhere? And would it be better to invest it elsewhere? Do something else with it? there also needs to be a part of it which looks into research and the whole measuring activity to find out if it is a good idea. But a promotional plan has to be based on something, and what it's based on is information, and that information has to be researched, and that should be costed within the budget. Finally, there should be a contingency plan. If the existing plan doesn't work, or if flaws are found in it, there's a backup. And the finance for that should also be considered. So it's double design. It's designing the plan and also looking at the contingency. And the budget must be sufficient to enable both. The next M, minutes. There needs to be deadlines for each activity. You've got to have a time scale, otherwise it'll drift on forever. So there must be a start and a stop point, and they must be set. There must be a set of proposals. Nothing's going to happen unless there's a set of proposals. Somebody must suggest a set of proposals which will start the ball rolling. And the proposals may be amended as there are meetings and as they're updated. But the proposals must develop the concept, and the concept will be further refined as the meetings take place, and there's more and more argument and discussion and criticism and all the usual things that we get to try and refine the idea or refine the concept. And there must be a testing of the concept. There must be some way in which all the players, all the managers, the engineers and so on can sit down and try and test whether the concept is good. And that must be documented. And that's what we call the minutes. Now we're on to M for measurement. This is the final M. It's monitoring the results of the activity. We have to measure it. We have to see how successful the activity was. We have to learn from the experience. We have to be self-critical. And before we measure, we have to have clearly defined specific objectives. They must be measurable. We must know if the plan has been a success or a failure, and the only way to do that is to measure it. So doing this helps to bring about realistic forecasts. You can't just devise a forecast out of thin air. You can't just pluck one out and think about it, think of a figure and double it. It must be based on measurement, and it must be based on research. And the whole activity will help future development plans. The measurement that goes in, the figures that go in against the set objectives, the success or failure of the promotional plan as measured, will help to develop future plans, because that is experience, that is learning. It's learning by doing. So now we've looked at two models, SOST and 4M, in the context of promotional planning. And that concludes this class. So thank you for watching.